internet. It's like 8:30 in the morning, but I got ready for work a lot earlier than I normally do. So I was like, might as well make a video. Today is New Year's Eve, and so I wanted to make a video talking about my New Year's resolutions that I had for this year and kind of how I did with those, and then talking about the ones I have for next year. This is a video that I used to make on my old channel, but I don't use that channel anymore. In fact, I think the last video I might have uploaded on that channel was this video from last year. But since I pretty much only use my BookTube channel now, I want to transition this onto here, and besides, most of my resolutions are book related going into the next year anyway, so it works. So I'm going to start by talking about the ones that I had set myself for this year and kind of how I did with those, and then talk about my ones for next year. So for this year I set myself 5 resolutions. The first one was that I wanted to read 30 books. I actually did a lot better than this. I had set my Goodreads challenge at 30, and then as I got into BookTube I really started to read a lot more. I kept making the Goodreads goal higher, setting it up to 40, because I had hit close to 30 by like July, and then I set it to 50, and as of this moment right now I've read 54 books this year. But I'm almost done with another one, and then I have another book that I'm going to try and squeeze in tonight because I'm doing holiday booktubeathon. So my end result is either going to be 55 or 56. You'll find out whenever I make my December wrap-up, because I'm going to include that in there. So I actually did a whole lot better on this than I thought I would, and I read a lot more than I have in years past, like twice as much as I have in years past, if not more. The second resolution I gave myself this year was to learn to crochet. I did not do that. This is something I've been wanting to learn for several years now, but when I was in college I really just didn't have time to sit down and teach myself a new skill because I was a college student, and now that I'm not in college anymore and I'm working, this is something I still really want to do. I just kind of had this period where I was working a lot because I work in retail and it's been the holidays. So I really haven't had a whole lot of extra time, but kind of going into the new year, this is something that I still really want to do. My third resolution was to get rid of more of my stuff. Now I've kind of talked about this in a video before, but I have a lot of stuff, and I want to cut down on the amount of stuff that I have significantly. Now I did get rid of some stuff, so technically I did do this, I did complete this resolution. I got rid of several boxes of things before I moved to Nashville, but I still really want to cut down a lot more. And so I completed this, but I'm going to talk more about how I want to make it better in the new year when I get to that part of the video. My fourth resolution was to find a job. Technically I did this. I do have a job. Now, whenever I made this resolution, I kind of made it more a job in the field that I studied, which I haven't gotten yet, but I have a job that I really love, and so I'm okay with that. I'm going to consider this a check because I found a job. I really like my job, and isn't that the main goal in life anyway? And then my fifth resolution was that I wanted to make the president's list my last semester of college. And I don't know how it works at every university, but at my university, if you got for a GPA of 3.5 or higher for that semester, you made the dean's list. And if you got a 4.0 GPA for that semester, you made the president's list. And that basically means in order to get a 4.0 you have to make straight A's. And so this is something that I had done my very first semester of college, and ever since then I'd always had pretty much one B on my list of classes. And so for my last semester of college I really wanted to try and get those straight A's, and I almost did. It was so hard. I had one really difficult class and that ended up messing that up. So I still made the dean's list, and I'm really happy about that, but I wanted to make the president's list at least one more time, and that didn't happen, but that's okay. So that resolution didn't get completed, but that's okay because I'm a college graduate and I still graduated cum laude, so whatever. I don't know if you can tell, but I was really picky about my grades in college. Not in college anymore. I don't have to put myself through that stress anymore. So out of the 5 I had for 2016, I completed 3, didn't complete 2. I think that's pretty good. Like, I completed more than I didn't, so I'm considering 2016 a pretty successful year as far as resolutions go. Going into 2017, I have 7 resolutions. The first one is, of course, setting my Goodreads reading goal. I want to read 60 books in 2017. I got really close this year, and since I'm a lot more into BookTube now than I was at the beginning of last year, I really feel like this is an attainable goal. Now, if I don't hit 60 books, if I get to a point where I just can't put myself through the stress of trying to read that much, then I'll lower it. But going into the new year, I'm gonna set it at 60 and I'm gonna try really hard to make it to 60 because I think I can do it. I really think I can do it. And I have a very, very long list of TBR books that I own that I haven't read yet, and so that'll be a good way to inspire myself to get through those. I put my Learn to Crochet resolution from 2016 back on my 2017 list because it's still something I really want to do. And like I said earlier, I think going into the new year, I'll have a little more time to sit down and teach myself a new skill, so I'm putting that back on there. That's resolution number 2. Resolution number 3 is kind of a similar one to the 2016 one. I want to get rid of more stuff, but I want it to be a more significant amount. Like, I want to be able to tell by looking around that I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff and I've decluttered my life a little bit, because a lot of it, even though a lot of it has some kind of significant attachment to me personally, a lot of it is just clutter, and I need to learn to let go a little bit better. So I want to get rid of even more stuff, but I want it to be more significant amount. So that's resolution number 3. I hope that made sense. And the rest of the resolutions are kind of bookish ones. The 4th one is I want to only spend money buying 5 books a month. That is my limit. I'm doing this because if you watch my book hauls, I usually haul around 10 or more books a month, which is way too many. I went through this thing that I've heard a lot of other booktubers talk about they go through when they first start BookTube or they first discover BookTube, where you see people talking about all these books, and so you go out and you buy all these books, but you can't read them fast enough, and then you just end up owning all these unread books. And I've definitely been going through that. And so this will not only help me financially, but it will help keep my TBR from growing too much more. I don't want to not buy books, because books are going to keep coming out that I want to get. There's still a lot of books that I want to buy that are already out that I really, really want to read for one reason or another. But I am setting myself in a limit. I am not allowed to buy more than 5. Now this excludes any books that are given to me for whatever reason. This excludes subscription boxes because I'm not actually picking out what book I'm getting. So those don't count, but as far as the books that I purchase with my own money, I'm not allowed to buy more than 5 a month. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I also already made a video about this, but I have a list of 10 books that I know I want to get to in 2017, my top 10 to read in 2017. Like I said, I made a video about this I think like a week ago or so, so I'll put that in the description, but those 10 books on that list I definitely want to read in 2017, so that's kind of a resolution in itself, and I'll be able to look back on that video to make sure that I get those books read. My 6th resolution is basically, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's called Diversity Bingo 2017, but basically this group of awesome bookstagrammers compiled a bingo sheet for December of this year called Diversity December Bingo, where for each bingo square there's kind of a diverse topic, I guess. I don't know if that's really the best phrasing, but there's a diverse topic and you were supposed to try and get a bingo. And I knew that I wouldn't have a lot of time to read enough to get a full bingo this month, so I didn't participate, but they went back and they made a full sheet to use during the entirety of 2017 to try and fill it up, and I want to participate in that. So if that's something you're interested in, I will try to find the link to the graphic and put that in the description as well. But that filling up that bingo sheet is a thing that I want to do in 2017 as well. I feel like I read a lot of diverse books, but I want to read even more diverse books, like even more diverse topics that I'm not as familiar with versus the ones that I tend to gravitate towards. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I think that this will be a good way to do that, and also it's just an awesome idea, so I want to do that. And my very last resolution for 2017 is I want to finish my first draft of a book. So I tried to do NaNoWriMo this past year, and November was just not a good month for me to try to write a book. It started getting really crazy at work. I was not home a lot. When I did have free time at home, I needed to be doing other things like cleaning and cooking and that kind of thing. So NaNoWriMo really went bad for me this year, but I still really want to try to write a book, and even if I don't do that in a month's time, it's something that I want to work on all through next year. Now if I can write more than just my first draft, that's great, but I want to set my goal low because it's still a very new thing that I'm trying to do, and I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to try and do too much in a year. So I'm setting my goal low. I want to finish my first draft of a book. and I have a really good book idea. It's one that I've been thinking about for pretty much a year now, and I really just haven't started it yet, and so I need to get on that. I need to finish world building so that way I can try to start writing this book, and I'm really excited about it, and I really hope that it goes well, and you'll find out next year when I make this video again. So that's it for my resolutions for 2017. I don't usually make this many resolutions, but being on BookTube has kind of inspired me to set more reading goals for myself and challenge myself as far as my reading goes, which is why a lot of these resolutions are book related. But even if I don't complete resolutions, I like to try and at least set them for myself so that way maybe I can guilt myself into doing better. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I know some people aren't into the whole resolutions thing, and I get that, but I think it's kind of fun, so I usually do it. Let me know down in the comments if you have any particular resolutions going into 2017, or if you had any for 2016, how you did as far as those go, and I'll see you in 2017.